How's it going, buddy? It's Thursday. Woo! You know what that means. Theological Thursday. Jake's gonna be putting up that video shortly. But yeah, I wanted to talk about something. And that something is Jake. Who he is and why is he a part of In His Hands? Well, that's a great question, Chris. So, one thing is, I've known Jake for about 5 years. He was a part of Faith Warrior Ministry and is no longer because he's doing worship. He's one of the worship leaders for our church. So he has a lot of things on his plate, so he's really not able to fully commit himself to Faith Warrior, which is perfectly fine. I mean, he's involved in so many things, so I don't even want to get into it. But I met him at a Tuesday night Bible study for Faith Warrior, and this guy was like, every time he talked, if he did talk, because he typically let everyone else speak before he said anything, whenever there was a question presented to us, he would come out with this extremely profound thought. And every time a question was asked, he would flip to the specific chapter and verse of an answer for that. And it was crazy. I mean, I've never seen this. I mean, I've been in church for 19 years out of the 12 years. I've never seen anything like that. And this would constantly happen on a weekly basis. It was just weird at first. But one day I was sitting in the car with my wife, and I was telling her that I really wanted someone to walk alongside with in Christ. And she's like, "What do you mean? Am I not that person?" And I was like, "No, it's not what I mean. I mean another male figure in order to keep me accountable in certain aspects. Not that you're not able to, but it's just nice to have another male, because they're going to be able to understand what's going on a little more." And she's like, "Why don't you just ask that guy at Tuesday night Bible studies, Jake? He seems like he's a well put together person, and I'll make dinner, just invite him over." I was like, "I don't know, I don't even know if he would want to, and I'm very shy. I'm an introvert, and I don't like bothering people." She's like, "Do you know what? I'll ask him. Let's just see how it goes." So we invite him over. First thing he does is ask me, like, "What are you reading?" And I tell him, at that time I believe I was reading, I think it was 1 Peter. And he's like, "Well, what are you getting from that?" And I was like, "What do you mean, what am I getting?" It's a good book. And then he asked me, he's like, "Well, how's your walk with Christ? Is like, you should be trying to get something out of what you're reading and putting it into practice." And he was asking me these things, and for the 12 years I was in church, no one's really asked me that, and it was a huge fundamental turn for me, because as I'm assuming you guys know, being in a church body, and I hope you guys are, because that's extremely important, they don't really ask those questions. I think the most anyone's ever asked me was, "Are you a believer in Christ, and have you asked Christ into your heart?" Those are like the two questions that come up. And it just threw me off guard, and it stumped me, but it was a good thing. Talk about a stumbling block, huh? Mimicking Christ. But yeah, so I really enjoyed that, and it really kept me accountable. I mean, that was the biggest thing. It held me accountable for what I was reading. And him being so well versed in certain areas of the Word, it assisted me with my growth. God blessed me with, I believe, multiple individuals, but the two main ones that I can think of is Jake and Cody. And those two people, well, one of them is currently on the channel, and then the Cody is going to be attending hopefully soon. But I mean, every time either one of these gentlemen said anything, it was really, really thought out, and they took into consideration that anytime they speak, they're teaching. So they're going to be held accountable even more. And if they didn't know something, they really wouldn't speak on it. I mean, they really wouldn't. And especially if there was young believers around and it was deeper things, they would not even touch it. But yeah, you guys, I just wanted to let you guys know why Jake is a part of In His Hands. Hopefully soon to be Cody. I'll further describe our relationship with Cody. He's a really good guy. Roll Tide, Cody, if you're watching. And if you guys are not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you guys have any questions and any prayers, put them in the comment section down below. And if you haven't seen the first video for Theological Thursdays, I'll put a link in the description. Go check it out. Let Jake know what you think of it and what you want to talk about next, okay? Like always, one love.